Hello, Vlad. Thank you for joining us on DojoTalks, our podcast. We're very honored actually to have you as our guest. Former world champion. I mean, you're just your chess career is absolutely incredible. And recently, you've been spending a lot of time working on cheating and chess cheating and the problem of like online cheating and all this stuff. I think our first question we just want to ask you is how do you spend your time these days? Is this like your main project, or do you have a lot of stuff going on, or how much time are you putting into this?
Yes, you see, I've been all my life doing one thing. Yeah, and somehow at some point I started to feel that I like to be, so to say, multifunctional. Yeah, I like to do several things, several different things, and that's what actually I'm doing since my retirement already, almost 5 years ago. Yeah, time runs. And no, yeah, 5 almost. So and I was doing many different things. I'm still coaching. I record some courses. I've recorded how many? 5, I think, already. And I'm doing coaching. I do some projects with artificial intelligence. Published a couple of papers in scientific magazine with DeepMind. I'm raising my kids. I do some social things. Actually, I'm even doing some videos on philosophy and religion with my friend, the Ukrainian philosopher. But it's in Russian. So many different things, and I'm enjoying it.
Okay, yeah, nice.
Cool. Okay. Clearly, you've taken a big interest in the problem of cheating. Maybe you could just catch us up to speed. Like, what's the I know you're very focused on online cheating. Is there a reason you're focused on the online side more than like the OTB side?
Well, OTB, first of all, I don't know how much is it, and I don't really play. Yes, so again, I believe that OTB, it's not. There are not so many cases. I suppose, I don't know, because actually it's technically much more difficult. Yeah. And it just happened actually accidentally because I was not playing online at all. But then I think it started with Daniil Dubov because we just were chatting. And then he told, by the way, are you playing today? There is some tournament online. I said, no, I have no idea. I never play online. He said, yeah, there is some event. And so, okay, so I went on to play. It was my first experience. It was, I think, July, a couple of years ago already. And then another same story with this Grand Tour. I also was just informed by somebody actually like very same day that there is some online tournament like a Grand Tour. Okay, everybody can play. So I just like 1 hour before the tournament, I learned about it and I connected my computer and I started to play. Actually, it was quite a successful event. I almost managed to qualify for the main group. I started 4 out of 4 and so on. And then I started to play Title Tuesday in the same fashion. You know, some people say, okay, I play Title Tuesday, it's fun, so I tried. And but then somehow more and more I've played, more and more I started to feel like, of course, I've heard some stories, okay, about this guy, that guy, cheating online. But then I started to experience it and I just started to feel like it's the problem actually is bigger than I thought before, and then actually most of people think. And that's where it's all started, like maybe half a year ago. And since then, I started to, it's a long story actually to tell how it all developed. But now I'm into it. And why? The question is why? Well, actually, because it's extremely sad, first of all, to me. And I think the main reason I don't need anything. I mean, I'm not playing chess anymore. And even what I play online, I just try to enjoy the game, which actually more and more difficult every month is to enjoy, because I have a feeling that unfortunately the number of people using external help is growing all the time. That's my feeling. Also, it is well, somehow statistics proving it also. And I just, but you know, okay, I chess gave me a lot actually. And I just feel like it's my world anyway, even if I don't play. I mean, it's part of me, and frankly, I just have a very, I mean, serious concerns about what is going to be next. Yeah, I mean, it's like the whole integrity of the game, and the chess in itself is in danger actually. I mean, in a long run, I would say. I mean, maybe not today still, but it's clear the tendency is very frightening. I mean, it's very worrying, and it's leading to a disaster. That's why, I mean, that's why I'm doing it, and actually I'm just trying to help with it, but it doesn't seem that there are too many forces which are well, how to put it diplomatically, that they have the same intentions. That was my feeling so far.
Right. Well, let me follow up a little bit, because first of all, here at the podcast, we have discussed chess.com and the cheating many times. And I think, first of all, you're not the only one, of course, to feel frustration. Through the years, it's been really difficult, especially where, you know, they have this secretive policy that they let you come back after you cheat. And then we all know that there's a list that they have of people who said, I've cheated, right? And that list isn't public. I was actually offered one time, I still think maybe, I'm glad I didn't look, because Danny said you could look. I would have to sign like a non-disclosure agreement if I looked at what the list was. But he said, you know, you're going to see your friends there. You're going to see all kinds of people, you know. And I didn't even want to look. I didn't even want to look. It was too much. It was too much for me even to look. And so I just want to say, we share a lot of the same frustration that you've voiced. And so even before we get into like the nitty gritty of everything that's gone down, I just want to say, like, we have been into this a lot for years now with the cheating at chess.com. And I think part of it that's really important to tease out, that I think is to understand that chess.com has certain like interests in doing it the way they do it, right? So for example, cheating throughout chess.com, it's just stunning. And the amount is incredible. So forget like the top
you
players.
mean 1%, yeah?
1%. Well, they know it.
Two, maybe two. Yeah, maybe.
No, I mean, for example, I have a student, he's around 2000, and 1 out of 5 of his opponents are getting banned. 1 out of 5. And then if you imagine that's just the unclever people, and he's around 2000 chess.com. So it's like, it's not just the top players that this is affecting, right? It's the whole spectrum going all the way down.
Of course. I mean, first of all, yeah, I would like to just to tell important adjustment that I'm not frustrated. It's not actually frustration. It's more like, okay, I'm just trying to do something for chess, but it's not because of frustration. Of course, when you lose another time to some guy who is, well, pretty clear, I mean, it was a very strong play, let's put it mildly, let's say. But okay, you feel like annoyed, but not because you lost, just because, well, these people should not be playing there, yeah. And when you see and again and again that those people keep on playing, and I'm doing lots of statistics, and you know, because many people, including actually top players and strong players, they talk a lot about it, but it's more about feeling and so on. That, I mean, that is also quite important, because, you know, strong chess players, they can feel well, yeah. When they're playing the game, their doubts must be taken seriously, because they're not doing it as maybe some people think, out of frustration or because they're angry that they lost. No, because they really feel in some games that something is fishy. But in any case, I mean, actually, I made a lot of statistics, and I can tell you that when I've done it, I was like shocked. I mean, because to me, it's very clear that some of the statistics just, I mean, just I don't understand how this person can keep on playing. But of course, I understand that on the top level, it's less than on the lower level. I hope so, at least. But it's definitely, I mean, again, of course, it's important to address this issue concerning the amateur level, or let's say club players level. But well, in a way, actually, first of all, it's a bit easier to detect such people, and also this issue, like it's everybody knows that there is an issue, yeah. But well, I was kind of surprised to understand that there is a general kind of consensus that on the top level, on the high level title players level, that it almost doesn't exist. I mean, which is, I don't believe a second. I mean, on this, not only because that is, also because of common sense. So, I mean, and it's actually, I mean, I think it's very dangerous for chess in general, and I strongly believe that again, it's not about necessarily chess.com. I guess same story would be in any other platform which would be prominent. But I believe that since now chess.com is almost having a monopoly in online chess, and frankly speaking, and there is a lot of money events, because if it's not money, okay, yeah, it's a kind of private business. Yeah, I mean, I cannot really do anything about it. But since it's money, and actually online chess is becoming now a very important part of professional chess, I would say that, I mean, quite many players, they earn more online than offline. So it has to be regulated. I mean, there must be, well, much more serious measures done. And I believe there are many things which are done wrong. One of it is what you've mentioned. I mean, okay, I think it's completely unacceptable that you can cheat, you can win money, you keep the money, nobody knows that you are cheating, you just admit, you get a second chance, and then maybe you cheat, maybe you don't cheat. Yeah, it's but I think it's completely wrong, this system. And I understand that chess.com as a financial structure, it has financial interests, of course, but well, we must, all chess players and also chess sponsors, we should not forget that it's a social thing. It's not like private business. Yeah, you buy something, you sell something, okay, you do whatever you want. But here it's a game of chess, which is above all of us. Chess players, chess sponsors, chess spectators, it's a game of chess. And the integrity of the game of chess, and to keep it, healthy is a must, and it's an obligation of all sides. And therefore, I strongly believe that it's chess.com obligation. It's not anything else than obligation to fight against it, and to take very serious measures, because otherwise it might be too late one day.
Okay, so let me get into it a little bit, because there's some of the things I've listened to, a lot of things you've written and on video, and so I just want to ask a couple of questions I'm sure other people have as well. So let me just, in particular, I guess I want to ask it in the form of, am I right in thinking these are the things you would like? So for example, I think you have a mathematical disagreement with chess.com, and you want them to acknowledge that you're saying something correctly, and you want them to actively debate you with the math, which arguably they're not. Then also you feel like attacked, and I know that the Hikaru people went after you because it seemed like you were implicating him, and I understand why you would say that you didn't implicate him, but then they went after you, and that became its whole drama too, right? And so
right? One by one, or
well, let me just ask one other further thing. I just want to make sure we get it all out there, and then we can kind of go through it. And then also, I feel like you're also saying that they are protecting some of the top players, maybe Hikaru in particular, right?
I mean, I wouldn't say protecting. It's maybe not the right word, but but okay, they're definitely not doing enough. I mean, because, well, let's start. So we start with what? With mathematics, yeah?
Sure, if you like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just frankly, okay, this report, which have been, I mean, did you check it really?
Yeah, no, I think what I was going to say.
I'm sorry. I mean, I'm a Russian peasant, you know, by nature. I live in Switzerland, but I still have, so I like to put things straight. I mean, it's a joke. It's simply a joke. It has nothing to do with any anti-cheating system, and I can explain, you know, why. So it's not like I'm not even trying to argue with it, because there is nothing to argue, you know. It's like what I want, that they at least give something which at least remotely reminds anti-cheating, you know, report. Because what they did is, I mean, I'm sorry, and that is why, okay, I mean, I just start to have more and more doubts about the intentions, because, well, this is simply not serious. I mean, what was written? I mean, I'm ready to present. I have actually statistics. I have also mathematicians which are working, but I mean, there was some articles, some mathematicians, I don't know, so-called mathematicians or real mathematicians, but for the moment, all what I saw from the chess.com and Hikaru Nakamura side was, I mean, so weak mathematically, I'm sorry, that it's like, I don't even see what to discuss. I mean, there are wrong numbers, wrong parameters, and then they're trying to make up a certain conclusion, which I guess they were leading to, those parameters and numbers. But I mean, it's just wrong. Basically, simply numbers are wrong. Yeah. So, okay, I just, okay, once they present me at least something discussable, actually, of course, I will discuss it. And I'm ready to discuss now. If you want to ask me why it was wrong, I can explain you if it's fits this format of this program. But I mean,
sure. But let's say, I think in some ways it's like you're coming at it from a different angle than what chess.com's structure or policy is, right? So the way I understand it is what chess.com is doing is they have a computer-driven model where they're not looking at performance ratings, right? They're looking at the moves corresponding to engine moves of any given game in a person's history, right? And that's how they're using it. And they're not looking at the performance ratings, which they feel, for whatever reason, is not as reliable as this other algorithm that they have. So you're coming at it from one mathematical angle with different parameters, right? And they're coming at it from another. And, you know, there's all kinds of reasons why they might want to do it that way, right? Some of them not just mathematical, but also legal and so on, right? And so I feel like a lot of what I see is happening with the mathematical debate, and I'm just a layman on this, of course, right, is that you're speaking from one perspective of the argument, namely performance rating, right? And they're doing it a different way, namely, like, how much is this conforming to the engine's top move? Or even second move.
No,
right?
But I mean, that can only, if it's the case, that can only mean that it's, I'm sorry, that it's just not good enough, this system, because you must take a lot of angles. I don't know exactly. We had conversations, and they even told me that if I want, they can, you know, I have to sign this, what it calls,
the non-disclosure agreement.
NDA, and I can look at it. I actually don't find it correct, because I told them I don't want, because if I'm still playing actively, I don't think any player should know the system. And actually, I have big questions why I saw on the platform that there are several players. I mean, nothing against them, but I just don't think it's correct to show it to players who are still playing. But okay, in any case, I mean, there are a lot of different parameters. A real anti-cheating system should consist of many different parameters. I mean, if they are not taking performance, it's already a big failure. I mean, it doesn't mean that everything should be checked through performance, but it definitely is a serious parameter. Time per move, a lot of different things. Yeah, I mean, they're keeping it secret. what is exactly the system, but first of all, I see it doesn't work well. I'm sorry. I mean, that's my opinion, very strong opinion. And secondly, concerning this particular case, finally, they answered me or everyone in, actually in this from this angle, which it was simply I don't have words to explain what was it, because to start with, they just confuse actually the performance. That's first. I mean, there were no 40 plus wins in these 46 games. I mean, so already, like the same story goes with this Polish mathematician or whatever who pretends to be Polish mathematician. I mean, to start with, they simply confuse the numbers. I mean, that already kind of, for me, it discredits the whole. I mean, this is a basic thing. You should just get the numbers correct. Yeah. So that, and then secondly, they're investigating there in this report, at least what they say, that they're investigating one streak of 45.5 out of 46, and that this is perfectly possible mathematically, even likely. I mean, I can tell you, I don't need any investigation, any examination to tell you the same. Of course, it is possible. I mean, but it's not about this. It's not about one. I mean, what it's about 4 or 5. I mean, it totally changes whole probabilities. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. So I don't even say that they mentioned 50,000 games. There is no 50,000 games, of course, because you cannot mix games with different time controls, obviously. You cannot mix rapid chess with 3-minute and with bullet. Of course, you have to. So it's already like 2 times less games. So it's just simply, it's just simply any, I mean, even not a mathematician. I mean, even for me, it was clear it's a joke. But then I called my guys and I told them, I mean, they just laughed at it. Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, but you cannot treat us, I mean, Chess.com, you cannot treat us like this. Because actually it is in fact very damaging for the image of the anti-cheating system, because this report, maybe people who doesn't know much about it, they will say, it's great. But anyone who has a knowledge, he will say, I mean, I can promise you, it's true that one of the person who is working in this anti-cheating actually for years already, and he contacted me after this report, and he said, this is so weak. I mean, I just cannot believe it. And that is true, it is, I mean, come on, Chess.com, stop doing this. Just be transparent. Just,
Vladimir,
be serious. That's my...
by the way, I'm not the one to defend Chess.com, but just for the sake of their perspective, let me just try to see from their viewpoint. I think this is what I see them doing, right? So for one, the privacy, maybe they screwed it up years ago, but they were the ones who instituted this thing of you can admit that you did it and then we'll let you back. So the reason that they can't be totally transparent is that was a private deal, right? That they did with all these other players. And so that's a big reason why they can't then release all this stuff. Now, was that a mistake that they did that in the first place? Maybe. It seems weird to me. All chess players, it seems really weird. But that's one of the reasons they can't be transparent.
Right? But they still keep on doing it. They still keep on doing it. So they don't think it's a mistake.
I totally understand.
But here in this, it's very important, it's about details. I mean, here, what we are talking about, the secret system, I don't want the secrets. It's true that it's important that players don't know about what is the system all about, but preferably all players, but not most of them, but and some they know, but anyways, but here it's nothing secretive. It's a pure mathematics where simply you have to calculate, I mean, not simply, actually, I will explain you why. You have to calculate probability. There is no secret. Just there is no reason to pretend that we are high. It's okay, but we will not give you numbers. I mean, it's a pure mathematics. I mean, I already explained this. Has nothing to do with anti-cheating measures. It's just mathematics. So please give us a number, because I have my numbers. I mean, not me, well, my people, we have numbers, but I want them to give the numbers.
Okay, but
I mean,
mine, again,
but I mean that here, sorry, okay, go on.
I'm not defending them, by the way. I'm just trying to give it their viewpoint, right? So I think what they would say, I think this is kind of important for them as a business, right, is they're saying, we don't want lawsuits. It's in their interest not to have any lawsuits ever, right? And so the privacy thing, that's the first thing. It helps them, not have any lawsuits. But then also, I think one of the problems with the top players, right, is top players, like you've said in a number of times, it's very easy if you just look maybe one move a game or maybe one move or two in the last round of a third of it. It's huge. It's massive if you're allowed to do that or could do that. And so that competitive advantage is such a small thing, but it amounts, if you want to translate it into money, it amounts to a lot of money. It's a big deal, right? But then for chess.com, I think what the thing is like to accuse someone of cheating, it's such a big step for them, and it's not in their interest. Generally not in their interest, especially with the top players. So the bar, let's imagine you have an imaginary bar and you're setting it up here where you feel, okay, it's obvious that if they go above that bar that they're cheating. But chess.com, it's in their interest to to put the bar a little higher, say the player must go above that bar. It has to be so blatantly obvious for us to do it. And by the way, they are catching people. They're catching a lot of titled players. In fact, the number is, it's astounding how many titles.
I mean, title is very quite small, but I mean, okay, that's
no, Vladimir. They have caught a lot of titled players. It's really important for the public to know this.
538 in the last 4 years. I know
it's incredible. That's a big number.
I could have been doubled, I think, easily. But anyway,
but that's what I'm saying. So if you lowered the bar just a little bit, you would get that double. That would be very quickly double, right? Okay. So I'm just trying to say, like, I think.
Yeah, but then it's about estimation. You know what I want to say. Then don't pretend that you are fighting with cheating, that you have a fantastic anti-cheating system. I mean, you cannot sit on two chairs. Whether you say, like they say that we are working very hard, we are catching lots of cheaters. I mean, most of them, maybe very few are not caught. Okay, it's one story. If you claim that, you are having a very good publicity, because maybe many people are actually buying, subscribing because of that. Or you say, well, it's a difficult issue. We don't want lawsuits, whatever. And okay, we are trying what we can, but it's clear that there are quite many still. This is a different story. But please then tell it openly, because that's the point. And again, we are talking about lawsuits, but they still ban players. So what happens is that they offer a player, if he admits, if he tells it, then yes, they keep it secret and he has a second chance. Okay, but two things. So basically it means there is no punishment. First, very important thing, he has to give money back. That's dot. No compromise here, money back. And this money should be, normally distributed among people whom he beat in money events or to make another tournament. But this is must, because that is a real test. If a person is really feeling sorry and feeling guilty, and okay, if you have to do something to give the money, if you're giving the money, it means you really feel like, okay, that was bad. I made a mistake. From now on, I will not do it. Otherwise, it's so easy to say, I'm sorry. That's all you need. You keep the money in your pocket and you just say, I'm sorry, and that's it. No, sorry, this doesn't work. That's first. And second, maybe then also if there must be some, he must experience some problem. I mean, if a person was cheating, so that can be a deal. If you give money back, and maybe it's just an option that it becomes people know about it. And then you get a second chance. Then you can come up. You can make a statement. I'm very sorry, I did it. Yes, I will never do it again. I apologize. I give the money back. No question. Let him play. If he's doing this, if a person is doing this, no problem. I trust, because if he gave money back, if openly admitted it was wrong, I did it incorrect, no problem. But why a person who actually made theoretically, I'm talking theoretically, who made a fraud, actually this is a fraud, and he doesn't have a slightest problem, and nobody even knows that he cheated, and he continues playing, keeping his money on his pocket. I'm sorry, it has nothing to do with court or legal issues. It has something to do with fairness and actually fighting anti-cheating measures. Because again, as I've said in some other interview, that just imagine the situation in life, somebody steals $10,000 on the street, robs somebody, takes a bag, and there is $10,000. Okay, police caught him, and they tell him, my friend, if you admit that you have stolen this money, just keep it with you, no problem. Keep it, go home, but just promise us, don't do it again. Don't do it again. And the guy said, "Oh, of course, I'm not going to do it again." And he leaves. So you understand, next day, in a matter of week, the crime rate would double immediately. Because the main actually concept of any juridical system, and here it is also partly juridical, is a punishment. There must be some punishment. I don't talk about severe, but there must be some. Here, there is no punishment. So what do you expect? You expect it to diminish? Of course, it's going to grow. Of course. Any common sense tells it's good. So then we have this. We have let's say, very high bar of this anti-cheating system. And we at the same time saying that we do our best to fight cheating. I'm sorry, it doesn't fit together.
First of all, I have a lot of sympathy. First of all, what you're saying, especially letting people give them the first pass. It's obviously a very controversial thing. It's obviously a business model that they're doing it this way. But I guess one thing I wanted to say, that as a big fan of yours, okay. As a fan, I think, this is my fans' advice. I think you should let it go. Let it go. Because look, you could hire a mathematician and throw a mathematician. Let the mathematician do it, dude. But yourself, you're getting all worked up. And let me just give you an example. There are loads of people. We're talking, let's talk about 100,000. I'm going to just throw that number out. Who aren't GMs, who are rated 1,500, 1,600. They're getting cheated against all the time. And they feel in their heart, they feel upset, just like you are. And they feel robbed and cheated. And the same thing you just said about feeling wronged and it being a wrong thing. Of course, you're absolutely right. But it's just messing with their soul. They're just letting it eat themselves up. Right. And I'm totally with you on a lot of this stuff, but I'm just saying, as a fan, I'm just like, let it go. Let it go, because it's not worth it. No. It's not worth it. It's the same thing with all these lower rated players. They get all upset and then it ruins the game for them, and should the ChessCom thing be reformed? Yes, I'm totally in agreement with you. I think at this stage, though, it's not that they're being like duplicitous. They've just dug themselves a little bit of a hole, and they're trying their best. I honestly do think they're trying their best, because
I don't see.
If they let's imagine this way: if they did what you
want a day, sorry, small. I interrupt you for a second. A day when I start to see that they are trying their best, I will forget about it. But I don't see it at all. I don't see it at all.
But let me just do this. In fact, I hate arguing for chess.com, but I just want to make sure.
No, please do. I actually want you to give these arguments, because I will explain why is quite weak. So for example, please,
if they were to now do a harsh punishment for the first time, what I think they would have to do, and this would be a radical step, is I think they would have to then give amnesty to all the players before who admitted they had cheated. That would have to be the first step. That's a problem for me too, to give amnesty to all those players. And the reason I think they would have to give amnesty is because now you're instituting this totally new thing. and it's a different ball game. So, that's part of the first problem, right?
But to start with, the laws are changing all the time in our life, in our states.
I agree.
So, and secondly, again, it just you still, let's say, you still can keep anonymous. I mean, let's say if a person doesn't agree, okay, you just ban him and that's it. And I mean, you don't have to tell that this person was a cheater. If you ban him forever, he cannot come back to the site. Okay, I don't mind if nobody knows about it. I don't mind. I mean, my goal is not to blame this one or to get some punishment necessarily. I just want the system which is existing, that it doesn't that it prevents from, I mean, people, I mean, at least stops people from cheating. I mean, that it's quite serious, and that people would think twice before cheating. I mean, that's all. I don't want to know their names. Somebody is banned, he doesn't agree to this condition, he doesn't want to give money back. Okay, he just banned, nobody knows about it, I don't mind. I mean, it just that if you already give second chance, he has to deserve second chance, not just to say I'm sorry. That's not enough. He has to deserve it. And so again, in this sense, I mean, amnesty, not I don't know what. I mean, there are many different variations, but it just cannot continue like this, because it will grow. I mean, there is simple logic that the amount is going to grow all the time. And
let me ask you a question. Just to get your perspective on this. So I've been talking from ChessCom, and now I kind of want to see how you see it. Do you think that this situation is structurally similar to the way that the cycling organization, back when the Lance Armstrong thing was going on, do you think it's structurally similar? And let me just sketch it out a little bit, right? So there they had, obviously they had Lance, and Lance was bringing on all this money of influence into the sport. And ostensibly, they were doing a lot. They were testing the guy every day. So to the average fan, it looked like, oh, this guy's clearly clean because they're testing the guy every day. In fact, the guy had all these amazing ways. He had a really, truly amazing regimen to get around it. And so then it was like, kind of like chess.com, their bar was lower. And in a lot of ways, it wasn't in their interest to catch the guy. Right? They don't want the scandal. They would be afraid of a lawsuit as well. A lawsuit would have come immediately if they had done it. Right?
I understand, but it's not in our interest to keep cheaters playing. Point.
No, but I just want to ask.
We have no less. I mean, I don't care about the interest. I mean, I care because I'm thankful to them. They're making tournaments, but as much as as long as it gets to this point, okay, it doesn't matter about it. They have to deliver it. Point.
So just to be clear, you think it is very similar to, because it's not just in cycling. There's all these other sports, soccer, American football, where the steroid use is going on, right? So is it a similar structural thing that we're seeing not just in chess, but really everywhere?
Well, but I guess there is doping control there. I mean, everywhere in all sports. At least it's kind of serious. People come 5 a.m, wake up the guys, they follow him. Police sometimes. I mean, it's a totally different story. I don't know. Maybe still they don't do enough. Maybe enough. I don't know. But they do. You see what they do. Here, it's nothing is done, and it's not. I mean, okay, it's just a wrong talk. We want a transparent and clean world of chess. It's a wrong talk. No, maybe it's in their interest not to check those guys, but those guys they can check. No, this is corruption. I'm sorry. I don't say it is the case, but I mean, I don't want the world of chess is corrupted. And I mean, it has to be very clear. I mean, everybody treated in the same way. The more prominent, more successful players must be checked much more than the less successful, because they're earning the money and they're the face of chess, of chess.com. I mean, I'm not talking about necessarily Nakamura, also other players, me as well, everybody. I mean, so that is how it should be if we live in fair world, if we want a fair. I mean, there is no other way. I'm sorry. It's again, if it would be just completely private story and there is no money involved, do what you want. But sorry, here it's about chess as a game, a lot of money involved. It becomes thanks to chess.com, of course, they did a very good job that it becomes a very important part of chess professional life. I'm sorry, then, every success, and they definitely achieved the big success, comes with certain obligations also. I mean, you cannot say, okay, I earn a lot of money, I did a good job, of course, thank you, but okay, I can do whatever I want. No, I'm sorry. You have, I also, everybody, Magnus Carlsen has to wear, he has to go to some meeting, has to do some things, I'm sorry, it comes together. And I believe we don't ask much from chess.com. I mean, they do in general a good job, but in this sense, I mean, it's not a choice. I mean, my strong conviction that it's not like they don't have choice, they must do it. As we must not cheat. I mean, if we are cheated, we should be banned and so on. As they must do absolutely everything to to make it lower the amount, and if it requires hard and harsh measures, and if it requires some measures which are not, I would say, comfortable for them, they still have to do it. That's it.
So I mean, here's again, the thing, though.
Look at Amsterdam. Okay, it was so bad for them to open this case and actually to make it public. Right, of course, everybody is losing. I mean, the cycle as a Tour de France, everybody is losing. But it's just has to be done, and that's it. And I'm again, don't make direct parallels with chess. I don't, but I mean, it's just a principle. As a principle, everybody should be checked. If there is kind of strange statistics, it has to be checked. Whoever is showing it, and actually, again, talking about this. Those streaks of overperformance. Of course, it's not about winning streaks. It just makes no sense. I mean, when they're talking about winning streak, who cares about winning streak? It's about performance. Yeah. So actually, I mean, the checking is important, not only, or maybe not even mainly, to check Hikaru, but maybe also to check his opponents. I mean, how come? Yeah. So it's not a personal thing. It's actually any performance like that has to be checked. Whoever played it has to be checked carefully. That's my point.
But here's the thing, Vlad, that I don't understand as a chess fan. Okay. So let's talk OTB for a second, right? So I'll just throw 3 cases out as a chess fan where you had overperformance. Okay. So obviously there was the whole Neiman thing. The kid shot up in a way that was like, I knew him when he was a kid. It seemed very unlikely. Let me just, before we talk about each case, let me just throw the names down. Then I thought Abbasov winning that thing in his home country, or, he didn't win it, but he did so well. That was a super performance. And that was like eyebrow raising. Then, of course, I think even more surprising than the Blitz thing with Hikaru is definitely like this dude is at 35 and he's got his best tournament performance year forever. Usually people start getting worse around 28 or something, right? Now, so then as a chess fan, I see huge performance increases, right? And so what I don't understand though is like, where is the bar where I have to be like, well, now we have to start looking at this guy.
No, it's mathematics. It's just, it has not, it should, I mean, that is the main actually problem, I think, main cognitive failure, as I say, is to look at it, through the lenses of subjective feeling. Oh, this guy can cheat. This guy cannot cheat. No,
I totally agree.
It doesn't matter. The name doesn't matter.
But see what I'm saying?
Pure mathematics. Pure mathematics.
In those 3 cases, it's all mathematics. But
no.
Yeah, I think it is. You talk about mathematics.
But it's totally different mathematics. I mean, if you're talking about a Abbasov case, it's perfectly possible. I mean, it's only
all
one.
Of them
We're
are
talking about only one.
All of them
but different probabilities, very different probabilities. If you calculate it correctly, very different. I mean, one performance, you cannot actually judge by one game, and even one performance, obviously you cannot. I mean, unless it's 100 out of 100 against Magnus, maybe. But but it's about series of performances, and it has to be purely calculated. I mean, mathematically, there is, I mean, nothing else but calculated correctly.
But this is what I'm saying, and I think this is where your disagreement with chess.com ultimately comes in, because you have tournament performances that are much higher than a person normally has, right?
Yeah.
And it raises eyebrows and suspicions, right? But the only way then from their perspective to check if the person was cheating was then to check it against, say, Engine, right? Otherwise, maybe they just had the event of their life or a streak of their life, as in the case of Niemann and Magnus, or excuse me, Hikaru, right?
No, but I mean, what do you mean streak of their life? Again, it's mathematically, you can calculate it mathematically. I mean, let's say a probability of one performance of your life, let's say what Abbasov did is, okay, it's lower than 50%, but it's pretty high. I mean, it's mathematics. If one performance like that, mathematically, it's perfectly possible. It doesn't mean, I mean, that it shouldn't be checked. I don't know, but at least it's totally different probability than 5 or 6 performances like that. I mean, you understand? It's like,
I agree.
Okay,
I agree.
It's like,
but I'm just saying though that like in those cases, how does the chess community try to make some kind of case if it's not in the way chess.com wants to make it, which is checking it versus the Engine suggestions? Right?
No, but they're not checking it. But I mean, if they're checking everything only with Engine suggestions, if it's the only method, I mean, you can throw it into the rubbish bin, this anti-cheating system, because it's a joke. Then I'm absolutely sure that they have much more than that, because that is simply not serious.
I think they do too, but I'm just saying, like, in terms of what you're doing with the tournament performance rating, I'm just as a chess fan, right? In those 3 cases, I'm trying to imagine like using tournament performance rating, how I would say definitively and make a case that then I would probably have to defend in some kind of law court that the person was cheating. How would I do it?
No,
just
you
based on
cannot. You cannot tell that the person was cheating. And I never tell this. I mean, of course, it's not about this. It's on. I mean, I actually explain. I've written my one of the posts, my blog, and I explain exactly the whole procedure, how it should be. So first, you have to check if the probability is within a kind of reasonable, I would say, margin of possible, or it's really low probability, which doesn't mean that you are cheating. But then the second stage should start, which is a very, very detailed time per move, maybe even eye movement. I mean, a lot of things. Yeah. Then but before going into this stage, which I don't know even if it exists or not, but it must exist. If you have a serious anti-cheating system, maybe it does, maybe not, I don't know. But before that, because you cannot check every single guy, so you have to get a certain barrier of a probability, which is like, okay, this we don't check because this is, I don't know what it should be. It's their business to settle it, but it cannot be 0001. You know, if it's 0002, it's already okay. No, it cannot be this. Yeah, it has to be common sense. So that is what I mean. That it's just probable, but then the probability has to be calculated correctly, not with their own parameters, not with their own number of games. What at least according to the report they had, that is what was happened, you know, and that is why I was kind of furious in a way, you know, what I mean, that is how you calculate probability. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, of course, there will be a lot of cheaters then.
But okay, so let me just run through how you propose to do it, right? And so you get, let's say you have a high performance rating, and then actually what happens at chess.com is there's a way that moderators, and chess.com is a moderator there. I found this out recently, and we can escalate players. So if we suspect somebody of cheating, then we can send it to their algorithm and they will look at it more deeply. And a number of people that I suspected of cheating, I escalated them and boom, they were caught immediately, right? So in a certain sense, that's what you're proposing, right? You can escalate a person if they have a high tournament performance rating, but then
frankly, I believe that all prominent players who earn quite decent money, they have to be permanently checked permanently.
That's fine,
I mean, and once it starts to be too much, I mean, the statistics is like too many over performances.
Okay, so when is it though, Vladimir? This is what I think the chess fans want to know. When is it too much? That you're really like a company like chess.com should say, all right, that's my bar. And over this bar, that's where I stop.
Well, I mean,
Because that's what people want to know from you. Because
no, but it is their business how to, I mean, it can be, it has to be connected with a certain common sense but they have to put this bar exactly. But let's say, okay, I think a performance like, I mean, 5 performances of 3 in average 3-5-20. I'm sorry. I mean, which 5 like altogether maybe 200 games. How cannot be checked? I mean, it's 3-5-20. I mean, one performance 3-6-27. It never ever happened in any offline. Even if you minus, more or less, let's put it in the FIDE Blitz rating. Yeah, it's minimum 3,100 minimum. But it never happened in the history of chess. I'm sorry. I was checking, let's say, Magnus won, I mean, the World Blitz World Championship. It's nothing even close to this, the performance.
Okay,
I mean,
but here's the thing,
it can be that it was still fair. It can be that actually there is an issue with those players who has rating much higher than, I would say, which has no connection with their strengths. Can also be, but it cannot be ignored. That's what I mean. Such things cannot be ignored.
But here's the thing, though, that I think that I feel like some sympathy with, even though it's hard for me to defend chess.com on this kind of issue because I have a lot of things they do that I don't like. But from their perspective, right, it's not enough that then they have, because to get 3,500, I think you're just cheating once or twice in a game. And if you do it cleverly, it's going to be kind of hard to prove. So
no, but what do you mean to prove? I mean, again,
but they have to prove it. They have to, their algorithm has to come down in a way that their legal team is comfortable with it. So for us, in a common sense, it's not going to work out. It's got to be something that the legal team is like, yeah, this is something we feel confident in court with. And that's what ultimately happened in that Neiman case, because the legal team said, okay, we're going to go forward with this because it's so egregious that we feel like, oh, legally we can prove this, right?
I mean, it's just our guesses. I know that there were cases of players. I mean, one player I know, he was actually banned, but I'm completely sure he was not cheating. I mean, when I saw the games, from the tournament, he was banned. I can guarantee you, okay, maybe before, but in this tournament, he was not cheating. I can guarantee you it was very big. So, I mean, it's what they present. I mean, again, there is lack of transparency. I want clear understanding how it works. What is a legal issue? We don't know anything. We just have to trust their words. But I don't see, I mean, I don't actually understand. It's your private platform. Why you cannot simply ban the player and that's it? I mean, basically, they ban a lot of players every time. Yeah. Do you think they give a clear proof? I mean, they can all theoretically go to court. I mean, you cannot avoid. I mean, I think it's more of an excuse for them to. But anyway, every single time you ban somebody, you have to be sure that you have full proof. And okay, but then they ban thousands and thousands. So it means they're sure, it means they're ready for the court. Or maybe it means there is no court actually at all. Yeah, because as far as I understand, it depends. If you accuse, especially publicly, a person, if they accuse, then maybe they have to go to a court. But I don't understand why cannot you just kind of, just ban the player, not publicly, but you don't want to see this player on your platform. I mean, why he can sue you? I mean, it's a private platform. So I think all these things, including this legal issue, to my understanding, it's actually an excuse, simply an excuse but I'm sure it can be done. And again, you're talking where is the barrier? I mean, you don't have, for instance, you don't have to ban the player. If, let's say, one of the things I was also offering them is you don't need to ban necessarily a player, but you can, let's say, just have him always on Zoom, always very heavy checking. When he is playing, as long as he, for a certain serious period of time wouldn't show the similar performance. I mean, then very heavy checking. At least this, but something, I mean, do something. Don't just say, okay, we cannot prove. Yeah, this statistics is strange. This guy is 2,200, but he is having 3,000 on chess.com. Yeah. Well, it's kind of, we all understand it's, let's put it mildly, unlikely. But they're playing, they're taking money, they're beating guys, they're taking money of other players, but because we cannot prove it. Okay, if this is a concept, then stop pretending that you have any serious anti-cheating. Then just state it fairly. Well, we only ban the players who are such idiots that it's so obvious that that the probability is 99%. And then it's quite clear if this is a concept. Then, okay, we are not, I mean, chess players are supposed to be not too stupid people. If you simply have to get 98% instead of 99, is it so difficult? Then
well, I think that's really the thing, though. I mean,
is it so difficult for a player to avoid 99.9? It's very easy. So,
but that's what I'm saying.
You can, with this concept, you absolutely guarantee that you will catch maximum 1 out of 10, maximum.
But and then it doesn't. Let's use your 99% just for a second here.
No, right? It's just a number.
But it's a good number to kind of think about. So let's imagine that you had that at 99%. If you're 99% sure you ban somebody, that gives 1 out of 100 false positives, and that 1 out of 100, it's a big deal. I mean, I think especially for a title player to be accused of cheating publicly.
But you're not. Why should you be accused of cheating? It can be done not publicly. It's a big
the way
deal,
you're saying, if you can't come back to chess.com, everybody's going to know. Everybody's going to know. If you stop playing Title Tuesday, all of a sudden, come on, people are going to know.
No, why? People might not, but in any case, and this is a big deal for you, yeah? And 9 out of 10 cheaters who are actually robbing all the players, this is not a big deal, yeah? One guy who will maybe falsely be, let's say, banned, even nobody would really know it, or you ruin the whole honest play. You just ruin it, because if you don't ban 9 out of 10, they're going just to clean, they're going just to ruin. I mean, you cannot play fair anymore. Yeah. So, I mean, on this scale, I mean, on this, what is more important? I mean, because this argument I've heard, and okay, it's like, I mean, if you go deeper, it's like, okay, let's take live juridical cases. Yeah, there is always a chance that somebody, and it happens, somebody is convicted, somebody is wrongly put in jail. Yeah, it happens sometimes, yeah. I mean, 2 times out of 100 maybe. But, if you don't do this, I mean, you will have people, you'll be killed in 2 days on the street. You just cannot, I mean, we are not living in an ideal world. I mean, it's like, you just cannot manage otherwise. Yes, there will be, when you make a surgery, yes, 1 time out of 100 or 1,000, it will be bad surgery. But what, not to make it? Okay, people will die simply. Yeah? So it's like, it's not really an argument. I'm sorry, it's not.
But for example, Vlad, there's just 2 things. I just want to bring this up. Maybe we could finish it too.
Yeah, sure.
I have a lot of sympathy, first of all, with what you're saying. But imagine, like, in this recent thing with Hikaru, where I agree, I don't think you directly accused him of anything, but his fans did. I agree. But the chess community, though, this is the way cheating works, though. I think it's important to understand. The chess community read it that way. His fans read it that way.
No, I don't agree with you, because it's Hikaru who started explaining that
this is what I want to get at. So
if
give me a second here. So he felt attacked, and then for somebody in his position who he's done really well in the last year, so of course he feels sensitive on this issue. So of course he's going to go on the counterattack.
But why? I mean, I don't know why he feels
that there was even the slightest implication that you're cheating is such a damage to anybody's reputation that they have to say something.
Why? I mean, okay, first of all, I mean, this is just doesn't make sense. I mean, let's say, okay, I give you an example. I was going through doping test, yeah? And for instance, candidates 2013, when in London, They came somewhere in the middle of the tournament. We were doing well, me, Magnus, and they choose like 3 guys out of 8. So they took me, Magnus, and somebody else, maybe Levon Aranyan, he was in lead, yeah. So what? I would say, come on, you're accusing me of cheating? No, I mean, of you accusing me of why did you choose me? No, I said, of course, I understand, because I am doing well. I understand that I must be checked first. I mean, it's a totally crazy, actually wrong way of seeing it. I mean, of course, I can tell you from my side, if I win 3 or 4 title Tuesdays in a row. I mean, I won one so far. Of course, I would say, yeah, you have to check me. I mean, of course, there is. If somebody will tell, okay, please, can you check, because it's a clear overperformance. I would say, yeah, definitely. Of course, I have to be checked because it's overperformance. And so there is no. I mean, of course, there was not an accusation. First of all, checking this, as I explained already later, and in this petition which we signed, that it's not because of Hikaru, not about him personally, not about the name of him. Anyone else should be checked in such case. And actually, the result of this checking might be not connected with him, but with his opponents, for example. Or it can be that probability is high enough that it's possible, which is, according to my mathematical research, is not the case. But I mean, not that, of course, it's possible, but I mean that it is low enough to start deeper investigation, and the result might be not connected to him, but to other players. Anyway, I mean, there was absolutely no reason for that. I mean, it's completely. I was so shocked. I just don't understand. I mean, and second, at least you cannot first of all insult him. Simply start terrible trash talk. I mean, this is just awful, because okay, it's his business, of course, but I mean, frankly, I'm honest. If I was chess.com, I would fire the guy immediately after, just after these words. Okay, they have a different idea of, I guess, of culture, of a certain level of conversation, because he's a face of the. I mean, he's doing a lot of kids. You just cannot tell such things what he's telling. And okay, that's. I mean, that's to put it aside. This is really just from the ethical point of view. It's, in my opinion, it's completely awful. But well, anyway, people have different culture, different education, different generation, if you want. But then, after this huge wave, then he kind of convinced these people, because they just listening to him with the open mouth. I mean, no, I don't want to insult them, but many, they just believe in whatever he says. And then they start these attacks, which finally led to actually, simply direct physical threats. I'm sorry, who is responsible for this? It's me who just published it. I didn't even mention the name, especially because I didn't want to mention the name, because actually this post was actually a start of a series of posts where, it leads to this idea that, actually there are a lot of kind of things can happen. And I can tell you, I have even more kind of concerns about a lot of players who are having, huge ratings, which doesn't correspond, at least, doesn't seem to correspond to their level. So it's this. And then he's making this hysteria. I don't know why. I don't understand. Maybe he wants some views or whatever. But I mean, I'm sorry, it's not my fault. And especially after I've explained clearly that it was not the meaning, at least you could just ask me. Yeah? But like next day, insults started to go like one after another. And finally, okay, and even after I explained exactly what is the reason, and then it continues disinformation, okay, that I'm accusing, then chess.com is telling that I'm accusing. Of course, I'm not accusing. I didn't even mean it, and I told it very clearly. It's not an accusation. I have explained my position to you now. Why? That it has to be checked. Doesn't matter what name. If me, yes. So this whole story is actually very, I have, a lot of kind of damage. I mean, okay, the people start to write me terrible messages. People start to, some hatred comes, and I get some physical threat. And all this just because one guy, is behaving as he behaves. I mean, I'm sorry, it's not my fault. I'm
totally with you, Vladimir. But look, as a fan, again, let me just tell you, as a deep fan of yours, what you're dealing with is what everybody's dealt with on some like Twitter debate where people yelling at each other when they're online, they have the worst behavior. Just let it go. Let it go. It's not worth it.
No.
It's not worth it, man. It's not worth it.
No, I would say that there are two things. No, I don't care about insults. This I don't care. Physical threats, especially when it gets to my family, kids, I will not let it go. Not because as a real, not real, probably not, but because this behavior should be punished. I mean, really punished.
No,
and the point is, it's not for me; it's for the others. Yeah, because when people start to see that this kind of thing is, you really get trouble. And I can remind you, in America, in US, it's a criminal case. It's up to 3 years of prison. So, 1-2 times it's punished, everybody will stop writing. And I'm not doing it for myself, I'm doing it for others. No, maybe it's not serious, No, it is serious. I mean, because today I receive, tomorrow Hikaru will receive, the day after. No. Sorry, this is, overstepping the kind of limit where you must react. That is first. And chess.com didn't react at all. And that was really embarrassing and really, I believe, sorry to tell openly, it's a shameful thing that they didn't react on it. And they still never didn't contact me. They still didn't do anything. They didn't say anything about it. And this is really not wrong. So about insults, actually, I don't care so much. But anyway, it also has to be punished in some way. I mean, because we create the world we are living in. I mean, okay, we all created, everybody of us, we are created. So if we tolerate it, like, this guy's insulting, it's fine. No, it's not fine. I mean, you have to stand, and especially when you see that it's growing and it's becoming almost a new norm. No, I'm sorry, this is not a norm. And I don't agree with it that it's norm. So, yeah, I mean, insults are not a norm. Disrespect is not a norm. I mean, trash talk, no. I mean, and threats. I mean, threats like of killing. This is just criminal. Yeah, that's very simple. And I mean, again, I do it because we all have a certain. I believe it's important in life. Okay, you live with certain principles which, if you have them, you have to stand by the principles. And so, it doesn't mean in every single situation, but this is a quite important principle. I mean, that chess must be fair. I mean, there must be honesty, transparency, and this, at least in the world of chess, we should try our best that such things do not happen. Insults, threats, this has to be taken seriously. And it's my stand, but again, it doesn't matter who did it, who wrote it, child, not child. First of all, it was not child. It's pretty clear by language it was not child. Secondly, this person has to have some consequences, legal consequences for it. And because if not, then we will have every second guy writing it tomorrow. And I can assure you, it's not funny. I mean, for my kids, they also heard it. It's not funny. It's called. I mean, for me, just personally for me, I wouldn't care at all. But it's my family, it's my kids. It causes a lot of damage to children, to wives, to family, and these guys, they just laugh at it. Like, I mean, I was quite, frankly, sad to see how reaction of chess players. It's fine, it's nothing. I receive myself. No, I'm sorry. I mean, it's not nothing. If somebody, Hikaru himself, would receive this, of course I would know. This is absolutely, you should really find this guy. I mean, this is not possible. This is out of question. So, I mean, we have to be a bit, I think that the problem is that there is too much tolerance nowadays, tolerance to wrong things. I'm a tolerant person, but we should stop being tolerant to cheating, tolerant to insult, tolerant to threats. No, sorry. I mean, because, finally we are going to live in this world, in such world. And so there is no tolerance to such things. And it must be very clear. I actually like the Grishuk interview about cheating. He said, there must be zero tolerance to people who are cheating, because especially for money, of course, yeah, because they are robbing their colleagues. I mean, and this is the worst thing you can do. I mean, it's even worse than rob some bank, because you rob your colleagues whom you are smiling, shaking hands, and playing a game, having dinner with, and then you rob him online. I mean, even if it's small money, it is a robbery. Yes, so there must be zero tolerance. The guy who did this, okay, money back, 10 times apologize, forgive me, and the minimum he has to do. So I mean, okay, I'm just more strict to it because I see that it's developing. I mean, it's just getting worse and worse. And if it's already in the point of time when if we are not tough and strict about it, I mean, we're just going to have, like simply matter of time when you simply cannot earn anything online playing fair. And this is the worst scenario you can have. And we are heading there. That's what I feel.
Okay. Well, let's end it there. Vladimir, I really enjoyed the discussion. And as a fan, my final wish is I would love for you to write a book someday. I know it's really hard to write a book, but I really enjoyed your book of games that you published ages ago. I really enjoyed that. And
no,
so
but
maybe something like that.
I'm I'm doing these courses. Yeah, I recorded 5 courses, and the last one, actually, I think people will enjoy it a lot because it's an attack in chess. So I mean, like 20, I think, games, and they're beautiful games, deeply analyzed. So, I mean, it is in a way as a book, course, because you can go through. So I'm doing it in this format, But I made one on the strategical kind of thinking in chess, but then 3 opening courses, and now really, I mean, check it if you want. It's fun. It's a lot of beautiful variations. I really, when I don't do a lot of courses, but when I do, I try to do it well. I analyze games, and my English is not great, of course, so that can be a problem. But still, you can hopefully understand me. But it will be fun. So I'm trying to do this. I mean, the point is, again, just to finish this cheating thing, that why I started to do it publicly, why I went, because there was no response simply from Chess.com, because they kind of invited me to communicate on this issue, yes, and we had a couple of very long, actually, Zoom conversations with the anti-cheating team, exchanging ideas. But then, I was sending that, and nothing. I'm asking simple question. Okay, check. I don't want Hikaru to be banned. Why? Maybe probably not. He shouldn't be. I mean, but just show me. I mean, okay, I'm a player. Many other players. They see. Okay, there is huge performance. Okay, just explain us probability. What's the problem? I mean, don't write this joke. I mean, but just write the correct thing, and that's it. We'll be fine with it. Just we must be sure, every player, including Hikaru himself, they must be reassured that we are playing fair. I mean, and why? Because that there are a lot of these guys not accusing, but suspecting this guy, the other guy suspecting other guy. It's happening. You know it very well. So why you keep all players like being worried, being suspicious? Why don't you open up? And I don't say about opening up the system, but at least this is pure mathematics. I mean, I just don't like the attitude, and I believe. Also, it's very conceptual. I believe that, again, I repeat that Chess.com, we are all very thankful. They're giving money, making good tournaments. Thank you, all good. But they also have responsibility, not only us, but also them. And this one is a very important responsibility to keep chess. I mean, because it's a problem. It's clearly an issue, and to fight there is no choice. They must do it. And all what I want is to force them really to start fighting. One day I will see it really. I will stop it. But so it's sorry, but it's not. I mean, I might be tough sometimes. I don't say I'm right completely in everything I say, or maybe sometimes I behave a bit too harsh. But it's frankly, the intention is positive, and. I really can assure you that things would be very different and wouldn't go publicly if Chess.com would be a bit more transparent and a bit more serious about this issue. That's
All right.
my stand.
Well, cool. Let's leave it there.
Well, thanks, Vlad. Yeah, it was great to hear your thoughts. I found it very insightful. Sorry we couldn't participate more. Me and David here were just listening. Our connection is going in and out.
You can still ask some questions if you want.
Yeah, no, we found it great. I don't know, David, do you have a question?
I have lots, but I was worried about the connection.
Yeah. No, I mean we can ask now. We can always.
Sure.
I mean, my question, one of my questions would be, if cheating is so prevalent, then you would imagine that the winner of Title Tuesday would be somebody who cheated like every single time.
No.
Or how would somebody who's not cheating ever win Title Tuesday ahead of the cheaters if there were, 10 people cheating in the tournament?
No, but because I don't know. It's a long story, but I kind of understand what sort of cheating is. Of course, you cannot cheat in every single game. I mean, then it becomes too obvious. Actually, they're not. I think that people cheat in just very few games, and if you are actually seriously weaker, and of course, let's say, Magnus is much stronger anyway. So, and you cheat only in 2-3 games, you still have a chance of winning. It's still quite minor. So, that's why I believe most of the time the really stronger players are winning. But if you are taking, let's say, top 10, then you see it's very often strange. I mean, just the statistics I will give you. Sasha Grishuk. So probably you wouldn't argue with me that he is, definitely one of the best blitz players in the world. Yeah. Okay, still for sure top 20, yeah, for sure. Okay, I was checking his statistics. At least, lately actually he won Title Tuesday again, but before that I checked a month ago. So he had played 25, I think, Title Tuesdays this year, or 24, 25. And I started to check, and it was really funny. I mean, funny. It was sad actually that he has been, definitely. Let's put it very, very, be very modest. Top 20 blitz player in the world. In reality, top 10, I believe. Yeah, at least. Yeah, for sure. And he, out of these 24 events, only 4 times. He not only that he was in prize or something, that he had a theoretical chance before the last round to fight for prizes. So 20 times out of 24, I think, or 25, after round 10, he lost even theoretical chance to fight for prizes. I mean, it's absurd. He's one of the best players in the world, and he's okay with mouse. I mean, he won 2 or 3 Title Tuesday already, but he's like, it's just simply like, and he won recently very strong blitz tournament with all Indian young talents and with Vashier and so on. I mean, he's a top blitz player, and he can only 4 times out of 24, he's getting at least a chance to fight for prizes. I mean, this is absurd. It just cannot be. And I have a lot of statistics like this, which shows, I mean, my statistics as well, not about result, but I have some funny statistics, like first 2 rounds. I mean, my performance is just like, okay, I'm losing a game in every second, more or less every second Title Tuesday, I'm losing a game in first 2 rounds. Yeah. I'm sorry, but the average is 400 plus lower than mine. And statistically, it should be like, maybe 1 out of 10. I have it 1 out of 2. I'm sorry, it just cannot be. And I'm in general performing pretty well. I mean, I'm quite often fighting for prizes, but there are just too many statistical things which tells. But then of course, people who are doing it, they have to be careful. So they're not doing every game. That's why that is kind of normal that actually most of the time the winners, I mean, if not all or almost all, the winners are not cheaters. I mean, because they don't need to cheat, but the ones who need to cheat to get to prizes, for them, even with this, using it 3, maybe 4 maximum time during tournament, it might simply not be enough. So, and it's most of the time not enough. But okay, in any case, yeah, I mean, so that is also argument. I understand it makes sense, this argument, but if you know deeper this whole how it works, if you understand, then yeah, then I kind of understood this. I mean, I understand many. Basically, I think I managed to understand all major, at least I would say, systems, cheating systems. How, when, and how much in what games. I mean, I kind of can. I think I understand a lot of different variations. How people do it, if they do it. But okay, but of course, yeah. If you win, if you just do it in every game, there is simply you will be caught very quickly.
Right.
Okay.
Well, Vlad, thanks. Yeah, we don't want to keep you up too long, but thanks so much for coming on. I'm sure the fans actually really appreciate hearing your insights and also just your efforts.
Well, I mean, yes, thank you. First of all,
this.
yeah, at the end of this, I just like to thank you for inviting me, first of all, because you are the only one basically from Sirius. Yeah, because somehow many, they don't want to invite me, they don't want to listen to my point of view. And okay, because everything is already settled and clear, I'm paranoid, crazy, salty, whatever, yeah. But in general, well, I hope people who have seen this video and who have listened to me, they understand that nothing is true, that all this strange, quite dirty actually, PR campaign against me lately has nothing to do with reality. I hope I managed to explain well what I did, what I said, and my intentions. And yes, and thank you a lot. I feel kind of pity that, well, for some reason, major platforms, major chess platforms, they didn't take this chance to listen to me. They don't want it for some reason. Okay, it's their business, but you know, still it's a bit sad. But I'm very grateful to you that you dared to invite me. I mean, it's funny to say if it wouldn't be said, yeah? I mean, after all, I'm former world champion. I'm not out of my mind yet, even if a great streamer is telling this and thinks that I lost my mind. I don't think so. It's up to listeners, yeah, to judge if I lost my mind or not. But yeah, at least I have a chance to explain everything, to express myself. And again, thanks a lot. And if you invite me once again, with pleasure.
All right.
Wish you good luck in the coming tournament as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Vlad. Yeah, thank you so much. All right. Well, have a good night.
Thank you.
We'll see you.
Bye-bye.
Take care.